Hey Jake, I thought I would record a quick video just talking about the Chronoforms and Easy Form Manager. Maybe it'd be a little faster to do it this way than to try to explain it in an email. So I'm starting off here in the control panel. I'm going to jump up here to Components, go to Chronoforms, and I've started a test form already. So I'll go to Forms Manager. That's how you manage a form you've already created. And I've got my test form there. I see the one you've already created. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Wizard Edit. Okay, and you can see I've got one of my checkbox samples right there, just one I did earlier. I'll delete that and just start fresh. Okay, so let's just start with let's say we wanted to start with a name. We wanted to get the name of the registrant. So we're going to grab a text box, drag and drop that over there. Okay, and we can see that label text is right there. We want to change that, so we're going to click our little edit button right here next to the X, and here we're going to change label text to name, and maybe we put in there first and last. And that's really pretty much all you have to do. If you don't want to do anything else, you can do it that way. Field size is going to control how big that field is in pixels. So if you want to make it bigger, obviously increase the number, smaller, decrease the number. Max field length, that is going to be how many characters can go into that field. Up here under Other, we can say label over, which just takes the text and puts it over the field. So if this were label over and it were being applied, label over would be here and the checkbox would be down here, or the list of checkboxes, or the text box would be down here. And you can line it up that way. So that's just an option. Hide label will take the label away entirely, so there wouldn't be any label at all. The instructions for users pretty self-explanatory, I'm sure. Over here at validation, this is where you can tell that it needs to be required, and you can get really specific in making sure that it's just character, like letters, A through Z, or A through Z and numbers. Here for alphanumeric, digit would be just numbers. This is no numbers. I'm not sure what the difference here is between no digit and number. I haven't tried it, playing around with it yet. If you do find it out, let me know. But down here, email, if you want to just get an email address and you make sure they can't enter anything else here and you want it to be correct semantics, that might be good to put in. Phone number, international phone, on and on it goes. So we'll make this required. That's about the only one I usually ever use. Click apply, close it. And to see the change that I just made, I'm going to go up here to save and click save. And you can see right here, my name, first and last label is now up here. A word about this section over here, it's going to look really funky. This is going to look really narrow. This is going to look really, close together. It's not going to look right, and it's going to be like, wow, why is this so narrow? That's not going to look very good on the actual website. Well, the good news is that this isn't going to look like this when you actually see it on the website. It's actually going to be nice and spread out, and you're going to it's going to space out much better. So I usually go through and don't worry about spacing any of this stuff until I get the form actually built, and then I go look at it on the website and see how it looks, and then I start trying to change how things look. So let's grab a checkbox just for one more example. Drag and drop. We're going to edit this. And field name, that's just the name that Joomla is giving this particular field in the background in the database where this is going to go. A field ID, this is useful if you want to do some fancier stuff with email. For instance, at the end of this registration, if we wanted to have the response email to the person that just registered say, "Thank you, Mr. Smith, for registering," you give this a field ID of name, and then in your email template inside of Chronoforms you would say dear brackets name brackets, and it would take whatever's in this field and insert it into that bracket space in the email, which is pretty snazzy. It's pretty cool. So you can mess with that if ever you want to. Field default value, this would just be whatever it's filled with, which in the case of a checkbox I would just not mess with it. Checked, that's just if you want it checked before they fill it in. Label text is obvious, so we'll just call this check boxes. Label position left, fine. Go over here to other, validation required. Okay, so this is all you really need to do here. We're going to go over here and click apply, close, click save at the top. And again, you can see checkboxes is here. So nothing too crazy yet, right? And then we can just keep dragging and dropping them. A lot of times when I'm working on this, I don't go through and click save until I've done several, just so I don't have to go save, and keep seeing my change. I know what it's going to be once I click save. Alright, that's pretty much it as far as the fields go over here. I'm going to jump over here to emails really fast. A lot of times you want the form just to get emailed to your office, to the office manager or wherever. So to do that, you can do that here. So it's right next to preview. Emails, click to configure. We're going to enable this. Action label. We'll just keep that at number 1 for right now. Send as HTML is fine. Text just keeps it as text, and it makes it a bit more friendly for more browsers, but HTML shouldn't really cause any problems. Get submitter's IP, I'll just leave it as yes. That's not really a huge deal. Here under template, go ahead and click generate auto template. And so what this did is it went through and created the code for what this email is going to look like, and you can see that here we have name, first and last, and then the field, input text 1. So it's going to take whatever that user enters and puts it right here. And again, checkboxes, whatever that user entered is going to go here. And so this is going to, as you build a really long form, it's going to get very long. And you'll be able to work with this. You can do some tweaking with this if you want to. I can show you some different tactics there as well. But usually I just do the generate auto template and I start from there. Go to static, enter the address that you want this to go to. So we're just going to put in email@website.com. Subject, if this was the junior camp registration, I'm going to say junior camp registration from website. From name, the website. From email, and you can just put it as yours or whatever. My email at the website.com. And of course you can get down to the carbon copies and blank carbon copies if you want to do that. And if you're just sending it to the office so they can enter the registration in, you can probably leave this empty. If you wanted to have this go to the actual person who just filled it out, you would want to make sure you enter your information here, your name or your camp's name, and then your camp's email address. Oops, go to the top again. Dynamic, I haven't even messed with yet. This is where you can start entering in user info, and this is actually where you would set up having the registration form copy back to the person who just filled it out. You would enter that field name thing we talked about earlier. And then encryption, you can do encryption to make it secure here. Again, something I've not messed with. I've really only been working with Chronoforms for about 2 or 3 weeks. So there's a lot here that even I haven't touched. But so far it's worked very well for me, and I've gotten it to do everything I needed to do without too much hassle. Okay, so we got it all done here. We'll click apply. And close. And save. And this form technically is ready to go. Now, right now it looks horrible because there's nothing in it, and we're not really collecting much information at all. But that's the basics of it. Yeah, if you have any other questions about it, send me an email. I just wanted to do a really quick overview on some of the stuff and some of the formatting things. We'll catch you later.